Alright, into customs, and today we're going to try and make a team that incorporates both Pelican and Whale. So for the longest time, Whale was the only unit in the game that had this swallow ability where it could consume a teammate and then spit it out on feint. But with the reimagining of Star Pack, Pelican got a very similar ability, although it does have some important differences. So Pelican will preserve the stats of the unit that has been swallowed, unlike Whale. Whale will spit out a unit with 1, 2, or 3 times the unit's base stats, depending on the level of the whale. But Pelican preserves the stats. The only downside, if you can call it a downside, is that when the unit comes out of the Pelican, it will be transformed into a salmon, regardless of what it was originally. So yeah, pluses and minuses to both units. Pelican also requires the unit that's going to be swallowed to have strawberry, which can often be a bit of a downside. But it does give you a lot more flexibility because the unit that the Pelican is going to swallow does not have to be right in front of it, unlike the Whale. So you could actually play the Pelican at the back and the unit that's going to be swallowed right at the front with the strawberry. And that does give us some degree of flexibility in terms of trying to build this team that has both the Whale and the Pelican. But I decided I wanted to add another restriction for the build, and that is to have the Pelican swallow the Whale. So what we want to happen is, at start of battle, the Whale goes off, it swallows the unit ahead, and then afterwards the Pelican swallows the Whale, which will result in the unit that the Whale swallowed immediately being spit out. So yeah, it is a bit of a complicated description of a fairly simple interaction when you can actually just see it happening. But we'll get there. We do find the Whale here on turn 5, which is nice. Now Whale does have a pretty unreasonable starting stat line with 10 health, so it's very good in customs where you can rapidly add extra stats on top of that base stat line. So it's already a very hefty unit on turn 5, and usually as long as you have a decent pack, you're going to end up winning many of these middle turns, even though we're carrying a level 2 Stoat here. There was Betafish there, obviously a very good unit to be swallowed by the Whale, but I think since we have the double Anteater, we don't really need to switch anything out. And playing on the test server, it was quite nice not facing these same people that you face over and over again in customs. However, this particular battle is going to end up being a very, very satisfying 1 HP win against that person who was just spamming stats into their tier 1. So we take the level up here on turn 7. We don't get the Pelican. It's not that big a deal because we don't need the Pelican to have high stats. We just need it to be level 2, which shouldn't be too difficult to achieve. And yeah, we're just going to pill this Anteater and double sell the ants to recover some gold. Use the standard Cyclops shenanigans to try and get the Whale to level 3 as quickly as we can. Although this build can be quite good when it gets going, it's going to fall off very, very hard towards the end. And unfortunately here it looks like we're just going to end up tanking a life because we couldn't find another Whale or another Crow. But not to worry, next turn, if we get the level up, we're going to be very close to having the setup that we want. So the question is, if we've got the Pelican and the Whale locked in, what are the other units on the team going to be for those pets to swallow? And having played a bunch of the Mirror Weekly, I think I'd had my eyes opened to the power of Pelican plus Stonefish. Now we don't get Stonefish or Pelican on this level up, but we do get Eagle, which is very important to immediately stabilize and give ourselves a chance of winning the next battle. In fact, it gives us a very good chance because the Whale is going to spit out a level 2 Eagle, which on turn 8 is extremely strong, and sure enough we win without the Eagle even fainting. But the benefit of Stonefish is that when the Pelican swallows it, the Stonefish can retaliate and immediately knock the Pelican out. So what that means is that we can have the salmons spawn at start of battle rather than having to wait for the Pelican itself to be knocked out by an opponent. So we're going to keep feeding the whale. Ultimately, the whale is going to be spat out as a salmon instead of a whale. So the more stats we give it, the more damage the salmon snipes are going to do. So yeah, salmon is unusual in that it's kind of the reverse of leopard. So it does snipe damage based on its health value instead of attack. So feeding it a bunch of milk from a cow is a great way to get the damage off the ground. So yeah, we get this level 2 cow. With the Cyclops, it's going to be very close to level 3. And we're just going to keep feeding the whale. In customs, a lot of the time, you get to this kind of stage and you feel like maybe your team is going to be too strong. But very quickly, you will find that your squad is falling off rapidly. Despite having a 44 health unit on turn 10, there's going to be tons of teams that have much better lineups than you. And so it's not really that big a risk to go for a level 3 cow here and have the 50 health. There are also going to be lots of skunk teams on the loose as well. So yeah, you're pretty safe greeding in order to get this setup going. Now, we do manage to find the Pelican. We don't have level 2 Pelican yet though, although with the strawberry jam we're set up for both the stonefish and the whale having the strawberry. Yeah, we're just going to keep feeding both the stonefish and the whale. The stonefish doesn't need all that much attack to be able to knock out the Pelican. I did have some runs where they just fell apart because the stonefish couldn't actually kill the Pelican. Now this is a pretty unreasonable looking summon team, and you can see what I mean, that regardless of how well your previous shop phases go, you're basically guaranteed to face one of these types of teams and lose hearts. We even do extra snipe damage there. But this stork is going to produce a kappa, which is absolutely broken with Turkey. And we end up losing a battle which looked like we were going to win. But that's fine. We're happy to lose hearts at this stage if it gives us time to set up the team the way we want it. We're actually going to greed with some more waffles. Get the stonefish to a point where its health is high enough for an extra snipe from the salmon, and then we do find the first Pelican that we need. But we are actually also looking for 2 copies of another unit, and I'll give you a minute or so to think about what that unit might be. Unfortunately here, with the Pelican having very low attack, it does mean that the whale lost most of its stats there to this opposing skunk. However, luckily it doesn't make any difference and we still get the win, probably due to the cow's milk on the previous turns. So I would like a level 2 Pelican, please. And I think actually on the next roll we are going to get our request fulfilled. Yep, there it is. A chocolate for the Pelican. Now level 2 is all we need. We can move the stonefish forwards. So here I pill the eagle, and that's because I'm looking for the mystery unit to complete the squad. And the unit that we want is Albatross. So well done if you guessed that. The salmons that come out of the Pelican are tier 1s because they are token pets. So that means they can actually be buffed by Albatross. So if we have an Albatross at the front, the whale will swallow it and then instantly spit it out again as a level 3. And then we'll have a second Albatross at the back. It's just going to be a level 1 because we probably aren't going to have time to get it to a higher level. Now here I was lucky to face a Jersey Devil team that only had, I think it was 3 cells. So not quite as powerful as they could have been. But now we find the Albatross in the shop. And I think I'm just going to roll down for another one. And luckily we actually get it straight away. Feed the stonefish to help get it closer to 50 attack, 50 health rather, where the salmon will do an extra snipe. And then here we go. This is the completed lineup. Unfortunately though, the first opponent we get is a gold stat spam team. So we're going to have absolutely no chance here. I think even if we had 2 50-50 salmon there, it might have been a struggle to scrape a draw. So we'll just keep feeding the stonefish. With the whale already on 50 health, we don't need any more stats on it. And yeah, we'll just feed broccoli and pear. I actually have 3 extra gold there. Okay, we'll freeze this chicken leg. And fig as well, you never know when that might come in handy. Unfortunately, it's another stat spam team here. Not quite as good because they don't have Melon or Behemoth. But I think the spread of snipes there weren't good enough. Yeah, it's close, but not close enough. So now we're down to 1 heart from being in an extremely commanding position. You can see what I mean when I'm talking about how unforgiving Customs is. Maybe there I should have taken Gingerbread in case it was a draw. But we end up facing this team, which is very low statted, so everything is going to get wiped by the Salmon Snipes. The Albatross damage, I think, made no difference there. And luckily, the Nurse Shark had higher attack than the Nyala, so it didn't get to go off at the start of battle. And we barely scrape a win. I think that could have been very different if the Nyala went off first and the Nurse Shark actually got to snipe. So I was very, very relieved and grateful to get a win with this unorthodox team.